there's a total shift in timeliness of better decisions faster, and it starts this week. Doesn't mean that the data is ready, and it doesn't mean that it doesn't take time to get the data ready, and it doesn't mean that the data and clean data and data lakes don't need to be established to get the full potential at scale of AI. It just means that there's a mindset shift to, hey, let's get this into the hands of smart people today and start making better decisions faster this week. This is AI First with Adam and Andy, the show that takes you straight to the front lines of AI innovation in business. I'm Andy Sack, and alongside my co-host, Adam Brotman, each episode we bring you candid conversations with business leaders transforming their businesses with AI. No fluff, just straight talk and use cases and insights for you. Adam, good to see you. Glad we were able to get this recording done. This is one of our shorter episodes we'll be doing more of. And today, what we want to talk about is observations and insights from the market. What is it that we're seeing when we're talking to CEOs and executives at businesses, small, medium, and large? And so I'll just start it off with a simple question for you, which is like, what have been your market observations about AI transformation?
That it's hard. It's
So true.
I know.
Should
It's
we end the podcast now?
exactly. And that's it. What makes it so hard is that you're dealing with like all these different cross currents. You've got, on the one hand, we've never had digital transformation that affects the workflow of the leader, of the knowledge worker like this. It's always affected more like your customer or your, some very vertical application that you use. And so that alone makes it hard. But then what also makes it hard is that there's still this muscle memory in organizations that, okay, there's some new technology that we can use. Let's give it to IT and like let IT just go do it. Or we need to get our data in order. And what we found, you and I have found, is that it's actually, because there's all these different cross streams of muscle memory, what's new, how this works, you end up in this really weird spot where business leaders, they sort of want to become AI first. They want to take advantage of this technology, and yet they're sort of fighting both their impulse and their muscle memory of how to do digital transformation through IT. They're basically fighting that with the fact that this is a new and different implementation. And we can give examples of that in a second, but that's what I'm finding, is that it's sort of the playbook for how you do this. It has to be as nuanced in a way as the technology is and how the transformation goes.
Yeah, I'm reminded of Ethan Mollick's advice to us at the end in the last chapter of our book, AI First, when he said, you guys aren't going far enough to actually, like, your playbook's all well and good, but you're not going far enough to actually push the level of transformation that businesses are going to need to deal with the rapid advancement of AI. And the reason I'm reminded of that is because it's really because of what you're saying. It's frankly, the limitations of the playbook. We're encountering clients who are like, yeah, like, I read your book and I took the playbook and I formed an AI council and I got an AI charter for the AI council. And yet the real change that's required is one that is much more significant than just that. It's one that is a cultural change. It is at times maybe an org structure change. And it's, as you say, it's not an IT implementation.
Yeah, it's almost as if there's an addendum to the playbook that we now talk about in our boot camps and with our clients and publicly, which is that the playbook itself and a council and a policy and all that good stuff, even an AI,
which you need to run.
You need all that. You also need to get everybody proficient and using the technology at your company in a responsible way. However, you can't just go, okay, everybody, here's ChatGPT Business, here's Copilot. We have a council, we've got a playbook, we've got a policy. Let's go. And then assume that the organization is just going to organically transform itself. And so we've been talking about this sort of addendum to our playbook as being about really involving the CEO in a way we talk about it in our book, but we emphasize it more now, which is the CEO, him or herself, has to have an aha moment, has to really empower some sort of a change agent or a transformation agent within the company, right?
Yeah, I totally concur.
So basically, like they have to empower this change agent or the transformation agent, who then in turn uses the council and the policy and the AI Academy and all this stuff that's going on to facilitate the change happening within the organization, almost like a circulatory system. It's almost like the change agent, the transformation agent, which, by the way, can be a chief AI officer, it can be a task force, leader of a task force. They're almost like the heart that pumps the blood into the change into the company. And yet, it's not about like forcing it on the company. Like there's this really interesting dance of an AI mandate that's authentically coming from the CEO and the leadership team that is facilitated by this change agent group or person according to a bunch of governance that's smart. And that's a tricky dance, right? Like that, but that is how it happens. We're not unclear that that's how it happens, but getting that through to a group of people that have varying levels of understanding of what this alien intelligence even is, right? Like in other words, imagine explaining that to somebody. They're like, wait, what? Like, you mean I don't just give it to my IT group? I've got to like think for an aha moment before change can occur, and yet I still think of this thing as like a slightly better Google that can maybe write some emails. Like
Yeah, I mean,
there's
just
this right.
it's it's so interesting just listening to you talk to our audience and going, and I'm going, wow, these guys have gone all woo woo on me. Where's the business brass tacks and ROI and it's all this soft language that you're talking about, and yet we wholeheartedly believe both in the power of AI and its ability to increase productivity, as you say, faster, better decisions. And we also wholeheartedly believe that it's a mindset shift that's required, and it needs to come from the CEO. The CEO needs to be involved in the transformation. Like we're increasingly talking about both of those things, and we're increasingly sounding woo woo.
Yeah, that's right. Let's make it more tangible if we can, because you're right.
And we can use a couple of examples of clients to illustrate it.
Yeah, like one example is so we were one of our client CEOs asked me the other day. I'm still he's not one of our AI transformation clients. He's one of our other clients, but we're doing some AI work with them. And he was like, "Can AI actually help me with optimizing our ad spend and our discounts, even though I don't have my data all organized in a perfect data lake or data whatever?" I was like, "Of course it can." And he's like, "Okay, like how do I do that?" And I said, "Well, why don't we just have a conversation about what you're trying to accomplish?" So I'm going to record that conversation so I can use that transcript as part of my meta prompting that we're going to do. And then I said, and bring onto the conversation your head of whoever's got your data responsibility. We had the conversation. You brought her on the phone on the call. I'm recording it, and I'm purposely setting the record for the transcript because I know that's going to go into the AI because I have this understanding of like what a GPT-5 thinking heavy or GPT-5 Pro model is capable of doing from an analysis perspective, as long as it's got the right context. And so I'm sitting there realizing in the back of my mind what the system is capable of. I'm having, in a very kind of meta way, I'm having a conversation with the CEO about what problem he's trying to solve, what data there is at his fingertips that relates to that problem. And I'm just like setting a record. He's got that data person on the call. She sends me a spreadsheet that she sort of threw together, even though they don't have all their data organized. And I got the transcript. I've got that data. I've got my own prompting skills. I throw that together into a GPT-5 Pro chat and one shot it in like 15 minutes of GPT-5 Pro thinking like the answer to their optimization question. And which I still sometimes go like, wow, that was pretty good. And
And
that's an example, by the way. Sorry to just real quickly. That's an example that will confuse people because, like, is that a pilot that I just did? No. Did I automate a workflow? Sort of, but not really. I didn't automate it. Did I just solve a major problem for them potentially? Yes. Like that's worth millions of dollars in theory. Yes. I'm not. I'm not shrugging my shoulders like, oh, I did such a great thing or it's no big deal. It's pointing out that like the real answer to how you bring this technology to bear has to do with like this combination of like understanding what his power is, understanding what problem you're trying to solve, and then weaving it into your workflow. And doing that, every organization or company, that's hard to explain. It's like we're being woo. We're like, yeah. And by the way, are they going to do that every day? A little bit. Maybe some days are better days than others. Some weeks are better than others. But on the whole, if the whole organization does that, they will start to become a transformed company. And the more it's not relying on the CEO to call some consultant, and the more that it's the CEO, him or herself, his data person knows how to do this without even checking with me, right? Like in a year from now, I hope that organization, they don't even need us because they're just like they've ingrained this into their workflows. And it's like you said, they're just constantly making better decisions faster across all sorts of workflows.
So, for all those CEOs and executives listening to us right now, what you just told, you just talked a little bit about some woo-woo stuff and you gave an example. What's the one thing that you want them to take away from that story?
Is that the minute that CEOs and leaders can start thinking of generative AI as a true augmentation to their leadership team, as a true augmentation to their enterprise's capabilities at the headquarters level, right? Meaning like this isn't some, some algorithm that's going to help you with your labor scheduling, even though it can do that, or help you with your baking time if you're like a baking company or whatever. Like, although it can help with that. Like, it's weird. People want to go to the specific. The point of the story was this can apply across all of the decisions you're making, all the analysis you're doing, all the planning you're doing. Like, you need to sort of get to a place where culturally there's a mindset that says, I should be running this stuff through AI. And I got to learn how to do that. And I got to teach my organization.
I think the thing that I would highlight is really, which is in part from your story, but also really informed by our experience with working with our clients on AI transformation, is that if the answer is I need to, like, that'll be delivered in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now for any N reasons, the data's not ready, it's not integrated, regulatory, the AI first organization starts to act and results start showing up this week. There's a total shift in timeliness of better decisions faster, and it starts this week. Doesn't mean that the data is ready, and it doesn't mean that it doesn't take time to get the data ready, and it doesn't mean that the data and clean data and data lakes don't need to be established to get the full potential at scale of AI. It just means that there's a mindset shift to, hey, let's get this into the hands of smart people today and start making better decisions faster this week. Thank you for your short 10 minutes of time for listening to AI First with Adam and Andy. For more resources on how to become AI first, go to our website, forum3.com. We have case studies, research briefings, and lots of other. We have a community sign up there. We have lots of amazing material on our website for those leaders looking to expand their knowledge. We truly believe you can't overinvest in AI. Onward.